So last week, the Wotofo Sapor version 2 left the queue. Joining us this week is this guy right here. Now, I did a first impressions of this what seems like forever ago in the vlog. It kind of fell off my radar. It got put into the wrong area, and I recently rediscovered it. But this is the Colibri mod with the Nectar tank from a company called AMERPOINT. AMERPOINT? It's a European company. AMERPOINT. Everything on their website is in euros. But basically, what this is a mouth-to-lung, single-coil RDTA tank and a single 18650 tube mod. It is unregulated, but there is a chip in here. There is an electronic board in here. This is a tactile switch, so when you press the button, you can feel it pressing a button against a circuit board. Like I said, this is a single 18650. The only thing I've noticed so far is that you need to have a particular 18650 to work in here. I'm assuming a button top, like a, with the bump on top would work really well. And if you have a flat top 18650, the connection here needs to protrude just a little bit. The 18650 goes in backwards in this, so the positive is facing down. And that's safe to do because there's no spring or anything on this side. And you need to make sure that both the negative are touching the connection up here and the positive is touching down here. And you just screw this down until it's tight. And there's going to be a little bit of a gap here and a little bit of a gap here. And that's for adjustment, so that if your 18650 is like a little bit longer, you can maybe only screw it down that much, and it'll look similar as if your 18650 is a little shorter and you screw it down that much. The deck on top uses hex keys, and it's kind of like the K-Fun in that you have to wrap the wire around the screw and then fasten the screw down. I put a very simple dual fuse Clapton in here. I'm running this with a 50/50 PGVG 18 milligram juice. This is Lucky Pair from the Namber Originals line, and this is, I didn't realize that this was such a dark juice. It's been so long since I vaped 50/50 like PGVG juices. I love Lucky Pear. It's like a pear minty menthol flavor, and in 18 milligram, it's delicious. The fill hole on this is just exposed. So you build your coil in the middle, you tuck your wicks down like you would on an RDTA, and then right next to that is a fill hole that is not plugged. You don't plug it with anything. It's just kind of exposed. And I thought for sure that that was just going to make it leak all over the place. Turns out, no, that doesn't happen. I don't know why. I can't explain the science behind it, but when I hold it upside down with no cap, it's not just like pouring juice out of here like I expected it to be. Probably something to do with pressure and negative pressure and surface tension or something, but having that hole right there really makes it easy to fill up. It does have an adjustable airflow, and it has airflow that goes in from the side and then directly up underneath your coil. And at full open, you can almost give it like a restricted lung hit. 18 milligram juice is the very strong nicotine-y juice. And with the airflow fully open, it is a fine mouth to lung. But what I've been doing is, you're not going to be able to see this, but the hole is kind of eyeball shaped, right? It's kind of like this, and there's a big hole in the middle, and then it tapers down on both sides, and it's kind of diamond eyeball-y shaped. And so what I do is I put this on, it's full open, I just twist it a little bit to the right so you can see that kind of like curvature happening, tightens up the airflow, flavor goes through the roof, and it makes it a much better mouth to lung. This is one of the best mouth-to-lung vapes I've had in recent memory. I mean, this is like comparable with the K-Fun, and I'm saying that completely seriously, with the K-Fun being like my benchmark of good mouth-to-lung tanks. This Nectar tank is on that K-Fun level. I get really nice, intense flavor. It's a nice, stiff draw. You can mouth to lung it with 18 milligram. It doesn't make me cough. It doesn't make me choke. There's a lot of traps that RDAs and RTAs fall into where they say, oh, we'll just close down the airflow and then it becomes mouth to lung. No, that's not the way that mouth to lung works. There's a lot more going on with a mouth to lung vape than just constricted airflow. The fused Clapton in here is nice. It's a little bit poppy. What I want to do is put a round wire build in here. The fused Clapton is great and it works great, but it's a little bit poppy. Like I can feel it popping in my mouth. And if I take the drip tip off, the coil is literally right there. And so I might like to try something less poppy in it. Stellar, just a really stellar mouth to lung vape. So yeah, this is gonna be entering the queue. I'm gonna put another build on here. It's unregulated. I mean, there's a chip in there, but it's unregulated. There's nothing to adjust. You can't adjust your voltage or your wattage or anything like that. You're just getting the discharge from the battery unloaded into your atomizer coil. I'm fascinated that it doesn't leak. I'm fascinated by the construction of it. It really reminds me, and this appeals to me because I've been around in the vape world for so long. This reminds me of like 2011 when single tubes were like, everybody was using single tubes, and having a single tube with like a mouth to lung cardo tank on top was like my favorite thing ever. That's what this reminds me of. Having a tube again with a tactile switch on the side and having a mouth to lung RDTA, it's awakening nostalgia in me, and I've just been really enjoying it. Now, these things aren't terribly expensive. Everything on the site is in euro. So if I click over to Nectar tanks, it says 110 euros, which is about 118 US dollars for this tank. So this is in the Nectar family of tanks, I guess. It's called the Vector Nectar tank, and that rhymes, and you know that rhymes. But they also do Nectar RDAs as well. They have the Nectar Nano and the Nectar Micro and the RDA Nectar Micro. I don't know what the difference is. That looks like it has a little tank on the bottom. Anyway, so the tank is about $118, and the mods, it looks like you're gonna be paying about $140 for the mod. Like, you can buy the parts separately, but you can buy the Colibri with a switch and a button, but then you need to buy the 18650 tube for 29 euro. I think that's how this works. It's a little bit confusing the way they have this set up, but we'll get it all figured out and we'll get you all the correct prices and pertinent information. But yeah, I'm looking forward to spending some time with this. After I vape through this lucky pair, I've got some Cartomator Crush as well in a 50/50, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. So I'm gonna vape through this tank, I'm gonna rebuild it, I'm gonna put some Cartomator Crush in there at 18 milligram, and yeah, we're just gonna keep vaping it. I have noticed that because this fused Clapton is so poppy that I do get little remnants of juice in my mouth, and I only notice it because this juice is mentholated. It has like a wintry menthol flavor to it, and so you can feel it. You can feel the menthol more than maybe you would in other juice. But welcome to the queue, Colibri Nectar, available from AMERPOINT.com. And like I said, I will post a link down in the description to where you can check it out if you are so interested.